all about love and positivity and self-development and all things related to that. So in today's video, I'm doing a bit of a story time talking about a time in my life when I was bullied. It's so weird to say this because up until like the past couple years, I never really considered this point in my life bullying, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's weird that I didn't think of it as bullying because that's exactly what it was. And it changed how I was and how I viewed things and the type of person that I became. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. So this all happened around 4th grade. I wasn't bullied before, I wasn't bullied after. I wasn't really able to be bullied after because I became a much more aggressive and volatile person due to what happened in 4th grade. So basically, this started with a boy. Now, we're in 4th grade, right? But this did start with a boy. So there was this boy in my class who I had a crush on. Let's call him Keontae. We're gonna call him Keontae. He was this really cute little boy, and now that I think about it, he actually wasn't that cute. I think I liked him because he was short, and I really like short guys because I was short. So he was this little short guy with a chipped tooth, and I thought he was so cute. And I really liked him, and I found out he liked me back. And at first, it was like a little, about to be kindled 4th grade relationship. But then he found out that another girl in the next class who was more developed than me, thicker, got the curves in all the right places and whatnot. She was really pretty too. He found out that she liked him. And so, I was just kicked to the curb or whatever. And I found out in the bathroom that, he liked this girl, and we're gonna call her Ashley. I found out that Keontae liked Ashley instead of me. And I'm in the bathroom and I just kicked the wall. I'm like, why you gotta like stupid old Ashley or something like that. It said something along those lines. And I guess somebody heard me call Ashley stupid. This is how I know this is 4th grade. Because I left the bathroom and Ashley, our classes came out to drink water at the same time. And Ashley was in the water line. She was like, I heard you was talking about me. And now, mind you, this is what's crazy. I said stupid old Ashley, but at the time, I had no idea who she was. I just knew she was a girl in another class that Keontae liked instead of me. So when Ashley approaches me and she's like, I heard that she was talking about me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking at her like, I don't even know you. How am I gonna talk about you? And then I found out that was Ashley, and in my mind, the only thing that could have possibly, related was the fact that I said what I said in the bathroom. And I didn't say anything. I was a very shy type person at that time in my life. It's so weird to think of myself that way, but that is how I was. And she was like, so from that day forward, I was enemy number 1 to Ashley, and because she was popular, just about the rest of the 4th grade. So every single day I was being called ugly. She would like bump into me when we went to PE, or like in PE there would be like a group of them just looking at me and talking or whatever. And I remember my best friend at the time, and I use that word extremely loosely because in actuality he was one of the people who bullied me the most, and I was so desperate for a friend that I would cling to him whenever he was ready to be my friend. So like it was a situation where one day he was my friend and the next day he hated me, or would be talking about me, or talking about how ugly I am, or talking about how Keontae chose Ashley over me because I'm ugly and I have a flat butt, all this stupid stuff. So he would he would rip into me. And then I made the mistake of sharing confidential information. Disclosure, this is a little serious, about me being abused. And I shared it with him. And when I shared it with him, it was because he was my only friend. Other than my best female friend, who was also in the class with that other girl. Now she would come back for me. Like her name is Nikki, or her name is something else, but I'm gonna call her Nikki because that's what we called her. But she would have my back for real, for real. Which is one of the reasons I love her to this day, even though I don't really talk to her anymore. But she had my back, and she didn't care if that other girl liked me or not. She liked me. We were friends. But this boy, we're gonna call him Ashton, and he would he went to the counselor's office about what I told him, and of course that was the right thing to do. So, you know, him telling the counselor's office, the counselor's office would talk to me, and, you know, my mother was involved, and so on and so forth, and things could happen the way they were supposed to happen. That was a good thing. That was a positive thing. But after the fact, he would bully me or talk about the fact that I was abused to my face to hurt me. He would take that information and he would shout it back at me, or he would say something really mean or really spiteful. I remember one time in particular, he said, the reason why you were abused is because you wear your pants too tight, or something like that. I was wearing leggings that day. And he was like, and then he called me a slut. He called me, you know, and we're in 4th grade now. But, you know, he came up with any name he could think of, and he called me this, he called me that. And I would just cry, or I wouldn't cry in front of them. That's the one thing I've never really done, is cry in front of people, except unless I trust you. But he would, like, leave. He would, like, one day he'd come to school and we would be best friends, and he'd be on my face like, Ricky is my best friend, and he would say it like, Ricky's my best friend, and, like, you know, we'd tag arms or whatever. And then there would be times when he would be like, little Miss Slut today, blah 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 blah, and I never knew what was gonna happen when I came to school. And I remember one time in particular, we used to talk on the phone a lot, and it was like a spring break, and he called me and he was like, and he told me that he liked me, he wanted to be my boyfriend. And I was just ecstatic because he was my best friend. And so I was like, oh my God, my best friend likes me. I'm gonna be in a relationship with my best friend, blah, 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 blah. And so I said yes, of course. And for the entire spring break, we talked every single day, and he was really, really nice to me and really, really sweet. And then we came back to school. Thinking about this is kind of funny. It wasn't to me at the time, and I tried to play it off, but I was so hurt. And we were sitting there, and I was like, oh, hey Ashton, da-da-da-da, being all nice. And then I sat down, and he was like, remember that thing that I was doing over spring break? And I was like, he was like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. And I was like, okay. And I just said okay, and I just looked at him. And then later on the day, he was like, he went around telling me, oh yeah, I dropped Ricky like a sack of potatoes, da-da-da-da. And he literally, those are his exact words. I would never forget it because it was, at the time, so traumatizing for me. I literally felt isolated. In my actual classroom, I didn't have any friends. I would have people that if I sat next to them, they wouldn't be mean to me. Like, I would be able to talk to them, and sometimes we'd laugh. But if I was starting to create a friendship, eventually that friendship would dissipate because of something that Ashton did or something that Ashley did, and I would just have to deal with it. And so I really didn't have a lot of friends except for at church. And school was really hard for me in 4th grade. And the way that this affected me was after 4th grade, I left for the summer, I started going to another school, and I decided that I was never going to let anybody ever do that to me again. Not to me, not to anybody else, never, ever, ever, ever again. I wasn't going to let anybody make me feel less than like a human. I was never going to let anybody degrade me in such disrespectful and ridiculous ways. And after that, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to let this happen to me anymore. And I kind of changed. I became a much tougher and rougher person. I became a lot more aggressive. I started fighting. I started being the aggressor. I found myself attacking and antagonizing people who bullied others. I would like charge at them, and I would be very angry, and I would snap in a heartbeat. And I left the school and I ended up going to another school, and I was the same way at that school. It didn't change anything. I was just really volatile. And then I went back to the same school. But when I went back to the same school, I was a whole nother person. I was not bullied this go round. Now, the girl, Ashley, she didn't go to that school anymore. So that year, I didn't see her. But Ashton was still there. And while Ashton and me actually did end up being friends again, he never was able to bully me again because I just wasn't having it. Like, he would come at me, and I would come right back at him. And I would say something, and then once that was kind of dealt with, I feel like once I initially started and like dealing with him, he rarely could do or say anything that upset me. I think the only time he was ever able to upset me was when he told me that he had another best friend, and I was so offended. I was like, I can't have another best friend. And actually, to this day, the person that he was talking about, his other best friend, is one of my best friends, like to this day. I met her. Her name is Simone. I love her. Shout out to you. It took a long time for me to realize just how toxic that friendship was, but he you know, after that, I was fighting all the time. I was fighting boys. I used to, that guy, the boy in question who I liked the year before, I like pushed him on the playground. And I don't remember what the reason was. He said something. I would, if I saw somebody getting bullied or somebody hitting someone I cared about, I would be the first person to just throw a punch. I was so angry about how I was treated, and I think deep down I was still hurt. I was still trying to fight through those feelings. And people don't realize, and you know, to this day, I don't have an issue with any of those people. A lot of the enemies I made later on was because of how angry I was, and I was so quick to snap at people that sometimes I wouldn't see that what I was snapping about wasn't worth snapping about. And it goes to show you that, like, to this day, I don't think that Ashton really realizes the impact that he had on my life. He did teach me some things. He helped me understand, he helped me toughen up a little bit because I was extremely sensitive and extremely emotional at that time. But he also, that bullying that I endured and from somebody who was supposed to be my friend, it changed who I was, it changed how I look at things, it changed how I treated my friends, because I didn't know how to be a good friend to others, because the person who I considered one of my closest friends wasn't a good friend to me. And if you were to talk to my best friend that I was just talking about, Simone, she would tell you when I was younger, 5th grade, 6th grade, that I wouldn't say I was a bad friend, but I wasn't the best friend. Like, I would say really mean things to my friends, and I didn't care, and I was very insensitive, and I would just spaz, and it was only because I didn't really know how to be a good friend, because the people that I considered friends, they weren't good friends to me. Anybody who was my friend, they didn't stay my friend. And so when she used to say things like, I'm mad at you, I'm not talking to you for such and such time, I would be unaffected, and she used to think it was because I didn't care about her, but it was really because I was used to that. Like, I was used to my friends, in a sense, abandoning me or not wanting to be friends with me anymore. And I figured it didn't matter if I was a good person or a bad person, because of what happened in 4th grade. That's how it was gonna be. So I was spaz at my friends, and I just didn't care if they weren't friends with me anymore. I was like, okay, don't be friends with me. I don't need friends. I've been in a time when I didn't have friends, so I don't need any. And that's kind of how that affected me. So if you see somebody getting bullied, or if you are being bullied, I will tell you, don't let it change you. Don't let it affect you. If you have a good heart, don't let it change that heart. Don't let it get you down, because those people, they're gonna grow up and you're not even gonna remember their names. You're not gonna care about them that much. You could see them in the street, you're not gonna have any emotion. If I were to see Ashton right now, I would say hello. I'm pretty sure that I've had conversations with him where we've just conversed and had great conversation, and we talked about meeting up like a few years ago. We talked about hanging out. Like, I have nothing against him. We were young. You're young. People do and say stupid things, and a lot of times it's stemming from their own issues, stuff that they have going on at home. You never know why somebody's doing what they're doing. Another thing, if you are somebody who's bullying somebody, stop. You don't know how what you're doing and what you're saying is affecting another person, and sometimes you don't even realize you're bullying. My little sister, she was cyberbullying this girl, and she didn't even realize that that's what she was doing. But sometimes the things that you say to people, the things that you do towards other people, your words do matter. I know they sticks and stones and all that other stuff, but words do hurt you. They do. It's a fact. They hurt. They affect people. Some of the most hurtful things that you said, you don't remember saying it, but they stayed in somebody's head forever. There's some things. There was this girl who I said something mean to during this time of my own issues, and I said something to her, and a couple years later I didn't remember saying it, but she repeated it back to me. And then when she repeated it, I vaguely remembered it, but I was like, how do you remember that? And she was like, oh, I could never forget it because I cried for 3 hours afterwards. And I felt horrible, because even though the reason why I did it was because she also was a bully, I felt horrible because I knew what it felt like, and I realized that I had bullied a bully because of how angry I was about things that had nothing really to do with her. And so, yeah, that's just my story. I figured I'd share that because no matter, what negative you may come from or how negative you may behave in the past, it's never too late for you to make a change for now and for the future. You don't have to hold to that. You don't have to stay angry. You don't learn to forgive, learn to let things go, learn to let go of that hurt so that you can stop hurting others. Because that's all that I ended up doing. I ended up hurting people that I actually cared about because I was still hurting inside. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, like, share, subscribe, share your stories with me down in the comments below about a time when you may have been bullied, or you may have been through something like this. I would love to hear from you guys and hear you guys' stories and, you know, what you guys have been through and so on and so forth. If you haven't, if you are subscribed, be sure to hit that notification bell so that you're notified when I post a video, so that you know when new stuff is going on, because new stuff will continue to happen. I have been consistent, posting every Friday, maybe not always at 12 p.m. like I'm supposed to, but we getting there, you know, it's getting better. I'm recording this on a Wednesday, so hopefully by Friday it'll already be uploaded and just ready to go. But yeah, so, you know, turn on the notification bell, comment, share with your friends. If you know somebody who's being bullied, or you know somebody whose kid is being bullied, or anything like that, share this video with them, because it does have an effect. And I feel like if you are somebody who's being bullied, or you have a child who's being bullied, put them in help them somehow. They need to have some sort of counseling, something to help them sort through those emotions without letting it fuel anger. So also, my blog is up, as you guys know, or if you don't know, this is me telling you. I don't know which video I'm posting first, but yeah, if you aren't subscribed to my blog and you like to read blogs and you like to read about self-development and wonderful things like that, do go and subscribe to that, the email list. I have exclusive things happening just for the people subscribed to the email list. So there will be things in the future going on only if you subscribe to that list, and that would be it. So the website will be in the description box below. You guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next.